Well, hello and welcome to New Models of Business. I'm Persis Setner, Director of Business Change Services at PRT Partners Limited, and I'm delighted to welcome today Jamie Walker, who's Head of Partnerships at leading recruiter Match Performance. And Jamie has been doing a lot of research on the new environment we find ourselves in. So Jamie, where are we in this journey of change that we're all going through?
Thanks, Persis. So before I sort of go into the journey of change, it'd be good to just set out a little bit about what I do. So I'm Head of Partnerships at Match Performance, and we are a leading change and transformation resource agency. My role is to engage with executives and transformation leaders, both to offer insights through data, but also to work with them on their current challenges and help them build resource maps. Through the series of surveys and interviews with dozens of clients across a range of industries. So essentially the findings we found, there was kind of four key things, Persis. Firstly was that there was a significant amount of change that needed to be done as businesses moved to normal business resumption. The second was the ways of working, so not just working from home, but also how organisations measure productivity and performance. There was going to be big changes there. Thirdly, was around the actual projects and programmes within the portfolio. What we found was many transformation leaders were not confident that they had the right programmes moving forward to deliver what they needed to do in the new world. But also emphasising and looking at, do they have the capability to deliver these new programs. And lastly, which was quite concerning, in fact, actually, was a very, very low proportion of the participants felt that they were very confident that they understood and had the capability to deliver against these portfolios. So that's pretty much the findings from there. But how that kind of translated into the journey was, many started out, as we all knew, in what I would call a survival defensive mode, where cash flow was stopped, programs are put on the shelf. Then it would be a reimagine phase. So this is, for us, looking at our data and looking at also the work that we're currently doing with clients, the most crucial stage within this process. Last is transformation. If I refer back to the reimagine phase. So this is about the, as we call project management, the to be phase, but you must understand the as is. And what is going to be a slight worry is that organisations that stay in the survival defensive mode, they don't do the reimagine piece properly in terms of getting the right strategic objectives, making sure that they have a full understanding of their current capability, their target operating model, their portfolio of change, etc., and rushing straight into transformation.
Right. So Jamie, what are the key areas that your clients are looking at just now in terms of resourcing and what they're trying to do?
We've sort of found five key themes that we are discussing, but also working with clients in this reimagine piece. So one is cost optimization, digitization, target operating models and restructuring of businesses, portfolio governance and assurance, and also workplace strategy as well.
So I guess the reimagine is a very interesting phase. Are you doing that with many of your clients?
Yes, and that's where I would say for the last 6 to 8 weeks is where we have kind of really ramped up in terms of working with clients, not just from a talent perspective and where resource requirements are, but also we're part of a larger consultancy group. Yeah. And there's been a lot of, some call it diagnostic, some call it discovery phase. It's that type of analysis, which can be done actually on an outcome-based agreement. So essentially that is a full review of, could be a target operating model, as mentioned, could be your portfolio, prioritization or creation. A big one at the moment is the change capability of an organisation. So if I step back sort of 2 years now, 2 years ago, Persis, so when Brexit sort of come into play, a lot of organisations decided to have big restructures, therefore voluntary and mandatory redundancies. What I found from sort of my data collection was that many of the people that took the redundancies were the ones that have been there for a longer period of time due to obviously the package. But as we all know, what happens there is the loss of knowledge, skill sets. Okay, and a lot of organisations that I spoke with, especially the larger organisations, they never got around to actually replenishing that capability. They were getting two or three level below to fill those gaps. And then obviously we had IR35. So in terms of the, going back to the point of my research, only 7% of leaders that we spoke with were very confident with their capability within their organisation.
Right. And how are they going to bridge that enormous gap then?
It's a very good question, a very interesting one.
Yes.
I think there's two stances, isn't there? There's the, do we take advantage of good talent at the moment in the market? Okay, but then risk of a potential second wave coming in and then hemorrhaging kind of budgets by bringing on new starters, or more of a staggered approach with the risk of actually missing out on good talent. So it'd be interesting. I'm not quite sure. I'm having discussions at the moment, which is more led around outcome-based assignments to begin with. So that type of reimagine piece review, with a view then to understanding the organisation's capability against what portfolio of change they've got, identify the gaps that they need, and then work with the organisation through our bespoke flexible model to say, how would you like to do this? Would you like us to deliver the next sort of section, or do you want us to start building a resource roadmap for you and start strategically resourcing, which means, in my view, building talent pools, not just for the now, but for the near future as well.
Interesting. So the outcome-based modules of work, like audits, for example, I guess those are exactly in the spirit of the legislation of IR35. In other words, they would be outside IR35 for experienced contractors, wouldn't they?
They would be, very much, yeah. The outcome-based, again, although IR35, there are lots of sort of grey areas still in there, very much it should be able to be outside. But also what I'm discussing at the moment, what organisations have found, is actually they have a lack of internal change capability. So historically, if we go back sort of 5 years, especially some of the bigger, larger organisations, a lot of the time when it comes to complex change, they rely on outsourced delivery partners. We all know often that takes quite a considerable amount of the budget and neglect of the in-house capability. So a lot of the stuff that I'm speaking to at the moment is, it's still very, very important, and there's a lot of benefit of having an external partner come in from a data point of view, experience point of view. Very much our core value is to utilise in-house capability and to leave the client in a better state than we found them in. Okay, so that's not a land and expand model. It's a, we'll go in, set example, or get things set up, but work with the organisation through that develop or replace piece, so we can kind of they can let go of our hand and continue the journey of change themselves.
Is that kind of value going to be part of the mission statement of every good business change interim, that they should go into as much to upskill the in-house resource as to deliver the project itself?
I think so, Persis. With the financial pressures from COVID coming in, some organisations can't rely on their previous partners for delivery of transformation. They're going to have to start considering and looking at different options and put the two together in terms of continual change and cost optimization or efficiency. It makes sense to at least thoroughly investigate or look at how can we improve our internal change capability.
What would you advise candidates from your experience of markets over many years at this particular time, Jamie?
I would say it's keep positive. It's been really, really tough. Keep positive. A couple of tips that I've done myself that worked well is utilise your network in LinkedIn. So it's a very, very powerful platform, LinkedIn. The more you can get your personality across on your profile and through articles and in certain thought leadership groups, the better, I would feel. From a strategy point of view, I think have a mix of everything in terms of, yes, look at job descriptions online. I would say find a couple of strategic resourcing partners that specialise in your area of domain, whether that's an industry or whether that's skill sets. And I think thirdly, use your network and contacts. I've seen some really good initiatives and human elements going on over the COVID period, Persis, where I've seen contractors tag contractors in job descriptions, and I hope that sticks because it's been really good to see. And I think there's a lot in value in your network as well.
Well, Jamie, it's fascinating to hear these thoughts as people innovate and change. And as you say, you're helping people to reimagine ways of working in terms of resourcing. So I really wish you the best of luck, and obviously all your candidates and clients too. Thank you so much for being part of this.
Thanks, Persis. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Bye for now.
Bye now.